This is a story, a fantastically true story, from the files of Herbert A. Philbrick, who for 9 frightening years did lead 3 lives: citizen, communist, counter-spy, and who has now revealed for the first time his secret files concerning not only his own activities, but also the current activities of other espionage agents. For obvious reasons, the names, dates, and places have been changed, but the story is based on fact. This week, Herbert Philbrick brings you the story of the counter-spy who was ordered by the party to play a leading role in a murder.
Now let's get behind the new items and make them as well known as the rest of the Drake Sporting Goods line. I'll be keeping an eye on your sales reports. I'll talk to you later in the week. Hello, Philbrick.
How are you, Mr. Drake?
Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Hold all my calls for 5 minutes. I'll tell you why I called you in. I've got a sensational idea.
Well, good. Associated Advertising can always use clients with sensational ideas.
I want to hire a goodwill ambassador. Someone who can tour the country for Drake Sporting Goods.
Uh-huh. Got anybody in mind?
Does the name Barry Collins mean anything to you?
Barry Collins. Oh, sure. He was a famous athlete a few years ago. Kind of faded out, though, when he...
I know what you're going to say. He faded out because he admitted that he had once been a communist.
Yeah.
But he was also one of the first to voluntarily talk about his party affiliations.
Yeah? Yeah, that is true.
The FBI gave him a clean bill of health. So why shouldn't the American public?
I think that's a fine idea. When does Collins start?
That's your job. I want you to handle the whole thing for me. Here's Collins' home address. Hire him, then bring him in to see me.
All right, sir, we'll do. There's just one thing, though. I'm completely in sympathy with what you're trying to do, but... Well, Mr. Drake, the commies, as I understand it, are notorious for trying to get even with anybody that's broken faith with them, so to speak. There might be trouble.
From the commies? I hope so, Philbrick. I hope they try to give me lots of trouble. Maybe they'll learn that capitalists aren't as soft as they think.
Good deal, sir.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Too bad you can't be as optimistic as Mr. Drake about what the party might do. But you'll have to worry about that later.
Something I can do for you, mister?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for Mr. Barry Collins.
What for?
Well, I'm Herbert Philbrick. I represent the Associated Advertising Company. We represent the Drake Sporting Goods.
What do you want?
Are you Mr. Barry Collins?
Yeah, what about it?
Mr. Drake would like to offer you a job with his company.
How come? Is he thinking of retiring? Does he want me to take over his job for him? Say, listen, what kind of a phony gag is this? The party sent you, didn't they?
Look, Mr. Collins, how about giving me a chance to prove this? Why don't you call him?
Mr. Drake? Why, sure, why not? Come on inside.
What's the matter, Barry?
Oh, it's nothing, honey. This fellow here says he's from the Drake Sporting Goods Company. Says that Mr. Drake wants to give me a job.
The Drake Company? Mr. John Drake? He wants to give you a job? Why?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, I told you to call him. Go ahead. The number's CR54124.
Information? Would you give me the number of the Drake Sporting Goods Company, please? Okay, thank you very much. That was the number, all right. Drake Sporting and Company? Mr. John Drake, please. Hello, Mr. Drake, secretary? My name is Barry Collins. A guy by the name of Philbrick said that Mr. Drake wanted me to... What? He will. Thank you very much. That was Mr. Drake's secretary. He said that Mr. Drake wants to talk to me, but he's tied up at the moment. He's going to call me back. Honey, he's going to call me back.
Then it's on the level. It's true.
Commies have been giving you two a bad time, huh?
Bad time, that isn't the word for it, mister. Do you know how many jobs they've made him lose in the last 5 years? 23.
I'm sorry the way I treated you. I don't know how to apologize.
Oh, shucks. No apologies. Well, look, I'm going to be running along. Well, good luck. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Honey, they've offered me a job. After all these years, someone's offered me a job. Oh.
They've been given hope again. The promise of a future. But for how long, Philbrick? You better get over to Her Majesty's dress shop and tell Comrade Lilly the news. It wouldn't do for your cell leader to hear it from somebody else first.
So your Mr. Drake has given him a job. How lucky for Comrade Collins.
I tried to talk Mr. Drake out of the plan.
We won't blame you, Comrade. After all, it wasn't your doing. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, what are we going to do? We can't just let Collins take a good job like that.
What? Oh, no, of course not.
Well, what are we going to do then?
It's simple. We'll merely see to it that Collins is fired. And while we're at it, we'll make sure that your Mr. Drake never again wants to hire an ex-communist.
Good.
You'd better go now before the owner returns. She doesn't know about my party affiliation.
Okay, Philbrick. Now it's time to see what the FBI can do to protect Collins. Set up a meeting with Agent Joe Carey. Being followed, these billboard layouts ought to make it look legitimate.
It's a good idea, Herb. I only wish I had some kind of an idea of how we could help Collins.
Party's out to get him, Joe. They're determined to make an example of him. Show what happens to people who leave the party.
I know. The whole trouble is that they resort to their usual tactics. You know, phone calls, letters, threats of a boycott. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, that might be enough to scare off Mr. Drake.
Drake's a pretty smart fellow, Herb. I don't think he'll scare too easily. As a matter of fact, this might be just the opportunity we've been waiting for.
What do you mean?
The party's been persecuting Collins for over 5 years now, but never in any way that comes within the province of the law.
You mean this time they might try something outside the law?
That's what we're hoping. Something that'll draw them out into the open. Of course, there's only one thing that bothers me.
Yeah, what's that?
The party may be planning to use you as bait of some kind. Watch yourself.
Look, Joe, it's gotten so I even sleep with my eyes open.
Keep in touch.
Joe's got a point there about using you for bait. You wouldn't put it past the party to sacrifice you or any other member if it meant gaining an objective. And right now, Collins is their #1 target.
I'm a communist, Philbrick. It says here I'd have to be to hire Collins. Thousands of them all this past week. All pretty much the same thing.
Looks like you stirred up a hornet's nest.
A hurricane would be more like it.
What do you think about Collins now?
I'll tell you how I feel, Herb. I'm sorry I didn't think to hire him a long time ago. He's doing a good job.
Then you're not going to be intimidated.
By a lot of anonymous letters? Nah, you ought to know me better than that.
There's just one thing. When this doesn't work, they may try something else.
No, you're wrong. You don't know the commies the way I do. They've fired all their ammunition.
Well, I hope you're right.
Don't worry about it, Herb. There's nothing more they can do. See you later.
So long. Comrade Garrow, he put something in your pocket, Philbrick. Comrade Lilly wants to see you at once.
What happened at your meeting with Drake this morning?
Well, he reaffirmed his faith in Collins, said the party had used up all its ammunition. There was nothing more we could do.
All those cards and letters and phone calls. I thought surely we'd be able to frighten Drake into firing him.
I guess all we can do is keep up the campaign, huh?
No, we're going to drop the whole thing. Orders from higher up.
Well, I thought the party wanted to make an example of Comrade Collins.
What makes you think we've changed our mind?
What you just said.
I said this campaign is going to be dropped. But we certainly have no intention of forgetting about Comrade Collins.
Good. I'm anxious to see him get what's coming to him.
You will, Comrade. You will see it happen personally.
Oh? I'm to be in on the plan?
Better than that, Comrade. Because you're such a loyal party member, and because you were forced into hiring Collins, we think you ought to be in on his finish. The party is going to see that Comrade Collins commits murder.
Status quo. As per orders, I meet Collins every morning. He leaves his car for his wife, and I drive him to work and pick him up at night and bring him home.
Usual party tale?
No, not that I can see.
It's funny. It's been over a week now. I wonder what's holding him up.
I don't know, but you can bet they're cooking something. What I can't understand is who's the intended victim? And they can't frame Collins into just murdering anybody. There's got to be a motive.
Don't worry about that. That's undoubtedly the first thing the party thought of. They've got their victim all picked out.
Hey, I just got a hunch.
Yeah?
I think the intended victim is me.
You?
Yeah, it makes sense. Any party member is expendable. They could easily figure out some reason for Collins ostensibly murdering me.
Well, how does Collins act? I mean, do you think he's got any idea there's something going on?
No, he's in the clouds these days. He really thinks he's licked the party.
Now, listen, Herb, here's what I want you to do. Starting Monday, call me when you leave the house to pick up Collins. Then call me again at night when you're ready to take him home.
Protection?
The works. You may be right about being expendable to the party, but as far as the FBI is concerned, you're much too valuable.
Yeah. Well, the way I feel, I can use all the bodyguards you can spare.
You'll get them. I gotta go now. Call me Monday.
You sure worked hard, comrade. Who's the guy you were talking to?
He's from the billboard company.
Huh? Got a message for you.
What?
You're to drive over to Collins' house and pick him up. Now.
Collins' house? But this is Saturday. He's not going to work today.
Sure he is. He got a call a little while ago, supposedly from Drake, saying he wanted to see you and Collins right away. Collins is waiting for you.
Oh. Well, okay, just give me a chance to call my wife.
No calls. We'll go over in your car. While we're driving over, I'll give you a rundown on what you're to do. Come on. Once more.
All right. I leave my car here. I walk to Collins' house and tell him we have to use his car.
Go on.
Then I tell him to drive by way of the back road.
Because there's a piece of property there you want to look at. Now, don't forget that.
Then we barely get started when something happens to the car.
Now, that's when Collins will probably suggest going back for your car. You've got to convince him there's a gas station up ahead. Then what do you do?
Stay in the car.
Go to the head of the class.
There's just one thing you haven't told me, comrade.
What's that?
What's going to happen? Who's going to be murdered?
We're saving that for the big surprise. Just do as you were told. And when Colin leaves, make sure you stay in that car. You're going to be watched.
No phone calls from here, Philbrick. There's a safer place. Collins. Wait till you get there.
How come you're walking?
Oh, my car broke down. I had to leave it around the corner. Do you mind if we go in yours?
No, it's in the garage. Come on.
Could I make one short phone call while you get the car out?
Sure, go ahead. Jen is in the house. She'll let you in. I'll get the car and meet you out here.
Okay, I'll just be a minute.
Hello, Mr. Philbrick.
Hello, Mrs. Collins.
Oh, Barry's waiting for you outside.
Yeah, I know. I just talked to him. He said that perhaps I could use your telephone.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
Thank you. Oh, I'm afraid there's somebody on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 4-party line. It's almost always in use. It should be free in just a minute. Can you wait?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, may I get you something?
No, thanks.
Oh, Mr. Philbrick, I don't think I ever thanked you for all you've done for us, Barry and I, but, well, you've given us a new lease on life.
Oh, I didn't really do anything.
Oh.
Well, I'll try that call again. Nope.
Is he? Well, is it important?
Kind of.
Well, here, give me the phone. I'll try. The neighbors, they won't mind. Hello? Excuse me, this is Janet Collins. We have a guest who has to make an important call. Could you hang up for just a few minutes, please? Yes, thank you. There you are, Mr. Philbrick. Clear line.
Thank you very much.
I have a cake in the oven, so you go ahead and make your call.
Right.
Oh, if you're going to dial anywhere in the city, you'll have to call operator and give you a number because we don't have an extended service out here. Okay?
You're out of luck, Philbrick. You can't give the operator the FBI number, not on a 4-party line. But you've got to tip Collins off. You've got to tell him what's going to happen. No, you can't tell him. In his cases is always to become nationalistic, both for his sake and for yours.
Hop in, Herb.
Say, Barry, you mind taking the back road over there? There's a piece of property along there that I'd like you to see.
Sure, I'd be glad to.
Good deal.
What a time to run out of gas. I just filled the tank yesterday. Now the gauge reads empty.
Yeah? That's funny. Well, things like that happen, I guess.
Well, it looks like we'll have to hike back to the house and call the club from there.
In just a minute. Why do that? There's a gas station a half-mile up the road.
There is?
I'm pretty sure there is. You mind if I don't go along with you? I kind of turned my ankle coming out of the house.
Of course not. You just sit there and take it easy, and I'll be right back.
Right. 0 hour, Philbrick. In a minute, you'll know what this is all about.
Nice work, comrade. We're all set.
I don't get it. You just emptied the tank of gas, now you're filling it up again.
Cops are going to want to know why he left the car. He'll say he ran out of gas. But when they check, there'll be plenty of gas left in the tank.
Well, he'll just say he hasn't put any in, and he'll ask me to confirm it.
Sure he will. Only you don't know anything. You didn't tell him to take the back road or to look for a non-existent gas station. You didn't tell him anything.
Oh, I get it. Instead of providing an alibi for him, I'm to cinch the case against him.
You're a smart boy, comrade. You know all the answers, don't you?
There's one answer I don't know. Who is Collins supposed to kill?
His wife. Okay, now sit tight till Collins gets back. The cops won't be far behind him. Just remember, play everything the party way.
You're not the victim, Philbrick. You should feel relieved. But what about Mrs. Collins? You've got to try and help her. You've got to get back there and do something. She's coming too. She's going to be all right. You've done all you can, Philbrick. Better get out of here before she's able to see you and start asking questions. Well, did you get the gas?
There was no gas station up ahead. Where have you been?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I was sure there was one up there. Oh, I took a little walk up the road to see that piece of property I told you about.
Oh? How's the ankle?
I decided the exercise would do it good.
Oh, good. Well, we'd better hike back to the house and call for help from there.
Yeah.
Baby, what happened, honey?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Are you her husband?
Yes, what happened here?
Your wife came close to being asphyxiated.
What? How did it happen?
I'm not sure. Somebody broke in the back and hit me on the head, and that's all I remember until I came to.
Funny thing, though, Mr. Collins. Somebody broke in through that window afterwards and turned the gas off. He must have even helped revive your wife.
I think I remember myself being lifted from the floor and carried to this chair. I wanted to wake up, but I couldn't.
I don't get it. Someone breaking in and trying to kill you like that was undoubtedly the work of the party. But then someone else coming in and saving your life and running off. Doesn't make sense, Herb.
No.
I wish I could remember exactly what happened, but I don't. It's just all so foggy and vague. It's like the way you sometimes remember a nightmare.
That's what we'll call it, dear. Just a bad nightmare.
I know, but who saved my life? Who picked me up and turned off the gas?
I think I understand what happened. Somehow Janet got up and revived herself and went over and turned off the gas jets and opened up the window. But because she was still half unconscious, she doesn't remember actually doing it.
I couldn't swear to it, honey, but I just don't think I revived myself.
Of course you did, darling. Don't you think that's what happened, Herb?
Well, it's the only thing that makes any sense. It must have happened that way. Well, I better be running along. I'll tell Mr. Drake what happened. Glad you're feeling better, Mrs. Collins.
Thanks, Herb.
You're in trouble, Philbrick. The party's going to want to know what went wrong. You better get your car and look up Joe Carey. You're liable to need some awfully clever answers. Don't you know where to find me?
I saw your car parked here. I figured you'd be back when it was all over.
You know what happened then?
We know.
Boy, there's going to be fireworks. And I'm the guy that's going to get burned.
Just take it easy, Herb. Everything's going to be okay.
How do you figure that? The party's going to want to know why that murder attempt failed.
And they'll find out. It'll be in all the papers. They'll find out it was due to one small mistake on their part.
What was that?
Papers are going to say that when Mrs. Collins was hit, she fell against the telephone table. And in hitting the table, she dislodged the phone, which opened the connection.
Phone? Yeah, that would disrupt the party line, wouldn't it?
Not just one line, Herb. All 4 lines. Naturally, it was reported to the phone company immediately. They saved Mrs. Collins.
Oh, great. There's just one other thing, though. You wanted the commies to come out in the open so you could nab them. How are you going to pin this on them?
We had an agent stationed in the house across the street. He took pictures of a man and a woman breaking in. Your friends, Comrade Lilly and Comrade Garrow.
Now, how did you happen to have an agent stationed across the street?
You can thank Mr. Drake for that. He got in touch with us and told us the commies had suddenly stopped their smear campaign. He was a little worried they might try something else on Collins.
Mr. Drake told me not to worry.
Anyway, we're turning the pictures over to the local authorities, and this gives them an airtight case against Lilly and Garrow.
Thanks, Joe.
Same to you, comrade. See you.
Sometimes there's a lot of satisfaction in this job of being a counter-spy. This is one of those times, Philbrick. You helped save a couple who deserve saving, and you helped deal a blow against the commies. What more could anyone ask? To the courage of a counter-spy and the help of the FBI, a man and wife were saved from communists. Next week, we'll bring you another story from the files of Herbert A. Philbrick, citizen, communist, counter spy.